Greenwood had a pop. Goodman still kept. And guess who's there? Throw and support from Abdadia. Alexander Arnold. And 100 Premier League goals.
Yes, my name is Ehis Anthony. Welcome to the first episode of 2022 on the FootyWit podcast. It's good to be alive. It's good to see another year, and it's good to be counted worthy amongst the living. Let me go spiritual right now. I'm not here alone. I'm here with Chimamaka. We will be on this episode together, reviewing what went down in game week 21. And also talk about the situation happening at Chelsea. Chimamaka, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, hello, bro. It's good to be back here again. And this is 2022. Hopefully, I don't want to sound too spiritual, but I believe that this year is going to turn out great for every one of us, even on FootyWit podcast, then in our individual lives as well. So hopefully, game of football continues, the podcast continues, and we keep enjoying life as it is.
Yes, we'll keep enjoying life as it is, but you know, football is one thing that we love talking about here, and like we mentioned in the last episode, this is episode 10 for 2021-2022 season. Like we mentioned in the last episode, episode 9, 2021 was good for us. 2021 was something that went well for us, especially on the podcast, and we're so grateful to be alive today to start with the first. We like you guys, we're enjoying you guys to follow us on our social media platform, and most especially please subscribe on our YouTube channel and also press the notification button to get notification for our new video that we always drop every week. We're on Spotify, we're on Instagram, we're on Google Podcast, and we're on Anchor, so you can listen to us on any of this platform. Sorry for blabbing there, but let's go. In the game week 21, we saw games that went down the New Year's Day. You know, football. We had this topic about should the EPL be put on hold or should the EPL go on a break. But over the festive season, we were served with a lot of games that went down. Some games were postponed due to COVID and COVID-related issues. But starting on Saturday was a cracker. Arsenal, Man City. Arsenal lost at home to Manchester City. Watford lost at home to Tottenham. Crystal Palace lost at home to West Ham United. All the games that went down on the New Year's Day, all the home teams lost. So weird. And also on Sunday, Brentford defeated Aston Villa. Everton lost at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. Leeds United pumped Burnley 3-1, and Chelsea Liverpool, which was meant to be the main game of the day, which was yesterday. You know, they had to share the spoils 2-2. But in the inscription of this for this first starting this podcast, I had to say VAR again. Really, it was maybe because this comes closer to home because I'm an Arsenal fan, and most Arsenal fans or most Arsenal faithful were not happy with what went down over the weekend with what we saw. But on the field of play, Arsenal stood toe-to-toe with Manchester City. For the very first time in the long run, Manchester City didn't have a shot on target in the first half. And even 90 minutes, it was a 2 target they had on goal was what they used to score, because they just had 2 shots on target. But Arsenal really stood up, and Arsenal did what everybody thought they couldn't do, you know, standing up to Manchester City, the champions, the EPL champions, current EPL champions. But what's your pick for the game that went down over game week 21?
Yeah, I saw the game against Manchester City, and Arsenal actually outplayed Man City. It was my greatest surprise to see that game, actually, I will tell you the truth. And here comes the VAR and what has to be done. Before VAR actually can take effect or can be very much more effective than we expect in the EPL, we need to go back to the drawing board and let these referees know what they're doing. It didn't only happen in the Arsenal game. It happened in the Chelsea game as well. Sorry, I'm saying this as a Chelsea fan, but some things have to be worked upon for we to utilize the use of the VAR adequately. Because so many things went down that I wasn't in support. I saw I listened to some pundits who had their own opinions. But as it stands, it was a game of football, and the referee had everything in their powers to do to correct mistakes and the likes. But let's go back to all the games that went down. Like on the 1st of January, we saw games and realized that every home team lost that game. Yeah, we realized that Leicester City was postponed. That was Leicester City versus Norwich. Was the only match that was postponed for that day. Now, talking about the Crystal Palace West Ham game, it was a cracker. I enjoyed every bit of that game. West Ham went up 3-0 up, and
I didn't watch the second half. Sorry for cutting you there. I didn't watch the second half because I felt 3-0 up in the first half. Come on, it's over. But Crystal Palace, wow! I was surprised at the end of 90 minutes. I saw 3-2.
It was a beautiful game of football to watch that day. I saw the energy. I saw the zeal in Crystal Palace. Vieira was even booked at the end of the game because he was complaining to the referee about some things. It only tells you the passion that he had in that game and what he has instilled in his players. So the fear factor is no longer there. It only tells you these guys are coming to battle. So it was a beautiful game of football to watch. That is for the start of the year, the 1st of January kickoff. Then we also saw Brentford Aston Villa. Brentford Aston Villa was a very beautiful game. Brentford came from a goal down to beat Aston Villa, and it only tells you so many things. I wouldn't give excuses for the absence of Stevie Gerrard on the pitch and the likes. I wouldn't do that. It is the boys who are playing the ball. All he needs to do from wherever he is give instructions. But it only tells you that, man, this is 2022. Nobody wants to start the year with a loss. But we saw those that lost. It doesn't mean that you have a bad day, actually. That was for the Brentford game. We saw the Everton Brighton game as well.
And over Albion. This is a team we need to be wary about because last season they were playing good football, but they were not winning. Exactly. But this season they've continued. They've even improved as compared to where they finished last season, and now they are winning. They are winning games because last season they will play good football and at the end lose or probably draw. But now they are going to away ground such as Goodison Park to pick 3 points.
It's very important because as you said last season, even this season as well, you realize that these guys have been playing good football, but the problem they've had actually has been grinding out results. But I think they've been doing it since they picked up that morale against Chelsea and realized these guys they believe there's no other team that they will face that will be a problem to them. But actually against Everton fought they tried to fight back after Calvert-Lewin missed a penalty. Which would have put Everton level at the beginning of the game. But he lost the penalty, a good save by Sanchez. And well, this Brighton team, I think we need to start talking more about them. They are playing good football. Well, let's believe you start grinding out the results. Then let's take it to Leeds United Burnley. Leeds have needed that victory. They have long awaited that. Have had a bad run of 2021 end of the year. It hasn't been very pleasant with them. For Leeds United, they lost. I wouldn't count how many games they had lost. Now, at some point, I started feeling for Marcelo Bielsa, but they needed this energy, and Burnley came calling, and they were walloped 3-1. It was a beautiful game of football. Then the cracker for the new year, which was Chelsea Liverpool. Well, I'll talk about that as a Chelsea fan and as an analyst. The game, as a Chelsea fan, I never expected so much from Chelsea, sincerely, because if you watch their last few games, you realize that at the last minute we are conceding equalizers. We are not able to see off games, which was a very bitter pill to swallow. But in this game, we were 2-0 down in less than 30 minutes of the game. 2-0 down in less than 30 minutes. All I saw in that game was the hunger of Chelsea players. We had an exceptional Mateo Kovacic in that game. We saw the hunger of N'Golo Kante. The defenders were all up and running left, right, and center. But the happiness of that game was they decided not to lose that game. In fact, in my opinion, we played better. We were the better team, but we didn't create as much chances as Liverpool did. And the beautiful thing about that game was that both teams actually drew, but it's a win for Manchester City. Meaning
it's a win because 10 points difference. 10 points gap from the second position, which is Chelsea.
And it's a whole lot. We know Man City are good at grinding out 1-0 results even when they are tired. Now, this is what is going on with Man City. It's not like they are playing so good. Arsenal actually outplayed them. They were just the lucky team to have grinded out that result. Against Brentford, where they played 1-0, it was the same thing as well. It only tells you that these guys are humans and they are also struggling. But the difference between a champion and the others is the champions know how to grind out 1-0 results and keep the 3 points in the bag. So that is what has gone down at the first few days of 2022 on football. Then it's been very beautiful. We'll be expecting more of it to come, more challenges from big teams, small team actually EPL, and we expect better days of EPL football for the season as well.
Yeah, but I kind of lost your visuals there. But let me work with your audio, because let's just piggyback. Let's piggyback to the Manchester City, the Arsenal Manchester City. Okay, you're back. I can see you now. The Arsenal Manchester City game, VAR. A lot of people, most especially pundits and football lovers, felt Arsenal were hard done by because there were two critical decisions that were supposed to be taken. Two critical moments that happened in the game where one had to go to the pitch side monitor to check, but I don't know, for whatever reason, the guys in the VAR office didn't tell the referee to go to the pitch side monitor. But like I said, inconsistency. You mentioned there was one that happened in the Chelsea Liverpool game. Sadio Mane is fond of doing that thing repeatedly. He did it against Arsenal last season. He was supposed to be cautioned. He was supposed to be red carded. He did it on Tierney. He did it on Tomiyasu this season at Anfield. And he has gone again to do the same thing. First 15 seconds of the match on Aspi for short. So is it that VAR don't see all those things? Is it that they just tend to pick a particular part of the game which they feel, okay, let's come in here, let's tell the referee in the middle of the center to go check it out and leave others? Because for me, the trip Emerson had on Odegaard is a penalty every day.
True.
3 times on a Sunday. True. I don't know why VAR omitted that. Your take on that?
Well, I would totally agree with you on that. That was why I said earlier I would like the referees to go back to go and sit down and have this discussion or have these meetings. I believe there are rules guiding all these things. All these offenses are offenses. If they are offenses, they should be given. If they have to be critical about the decisions, they should be critical about it. We were fighting with head collision all through last season, wherein we had to start protecting collisions on the head. But now, when you see a player who is constant with always throwing out his elbow to hit a player on the head, we all know that is a straight out.
He needs to be cautioned. He needs to be cautioned because it's not first time. It's not the second time. Yeah.
It's not the second time. So I expect if he's given a red card once, nobody will teach him in the next match. So, but since at least you've mentioned 3 different incidents starting from last season, we saw how the whole thing panned out. This same season, it has happened against Arsenal. This same season, it has happened against Chelsea, and he has not been given it. If he had given a straight out red, I can guarantee you that when he sits out that suspension, he will come back keeping his hands in his pockets and always contesting for ball without his hands up. That's how you can go about it. Now, I expect that with the VAR being introduced, they should be critical about this. I also think that those in the room have these views to go through. When they view it and see that they cannot give the decisions, then they tell the referee to go and see.
No, but sorry, I just need to clear something out. Is VAR meant to decide on what happens on the pitch, or they are meant to assist the referee in the middle of the pitch based on his decisions, or based on the decision he has made?
It's actually as it is. VAR, which we all know stands for Video Assistant Referee, which tells you its functionality. It should serve as an assistant to the referee when he's making a wrong decision.
Not the decision maker.
Exactly, not decision maker. He should assist the referee on this. Now, I believe that many a times, many of these referees actually act on impulses. When I mean impulse, I mean impulses on the momentum of the game, or what side the game is falling into. I don't know how they come about this, but I realize that there have been some unacceptable decisions at which they have called this season. You call the red card a red card, you call a penalty, and don't look. I don't see why you consult the VAR when at the end of the whole thing you overturn it.
No, but for the life of me, what's really getting me so pissed concerning this VAR inconsistency? The VAR officials, they are there to assist the referee on some kind of things that happen on the pitch. You know, like I said, impulse. There are some things that just happen in the flash, that real time, that you can't even see unless you go back, slow it down, play it, check it out, and tell the ref, hey, we spotted something. Would you want to check the pitch side monitor? Like on the one concerning where you need to decide if it's offside or onside, where they draw that red and green line. We understand where that comes in.
Green or blue line, yeah.
It's red and green. So we understand that. We understand that has come to help decipher or identify if a particular play was offside, or if it's a player ran offside. That is understandable. But there's some kind of things that happen on the pitch where the referee would not be able to see. The assistant will miss out. The VAR, they are meant to check it over again. I'm not trying to spin a narrative. I'm sharing a video right now while this episode is going on. 4 situations has happened against us now. The first one against Crystal Palace, where MacArthur out of nowhere slammed Saka. I didn't understand the role VAR played there. The second one was against Manchester United. Tomiyasu, Arsenal's free kick. Maguire, daylight robbery, pulled Tomiyasu. And the replay went on twice. The VAR decided not to look at it. This other guy, the Everton player, I've forgotten his name. The kick on Tomiyasu's face, now added to the one that happened recently, Emerson or Odegaard. Is it that this guy, the VAR guys, just decide not to look into they decide not to just look into what is going on and just decide to play on, not wanting to review those situations that has happened? So it's kind of like confusing.
I'm sorry to cut you. I don't know. There are situations where they just let slide and they shouldn't be, because I realize that like I said earlier, sometimes they act on impulse or the momentum of the game before they take all these critical actions. Now, I wouldn't say there is bias. I wouldn't want to put that in.
But it's beginning to look like it. It's beginning to look like it.
I wouldn't want to say this. I wouldn't want to say this for the I'll keep that aside for now. But I wouldn't like us to buttress so much on them being biased on all these things. I only feel that they decide to check whatever they feel they can check, or whatever they feel they should check, which I feel is wrong. There's now they are addressing hard when a player comes in with a very hard tackle, they address such.
Follow through.
Even if it does exactly all these follow through balls, wherein a player even wins the ball, but he's being cautioned with a yellow card. But in a case wherein you see it's a straight out, why don't you give it out? If you are going to dish out 2-3 red cards in a game and it is for the rule to stand, let it be done. I don't care if it's going to be on the side of my team. I don't care if it's going to be on the side of an opposing team, but I expect the rules to be taken through. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you.
If you are picking beats, just bits of the games, and you feel okay, these are the best parts to give a yellow card, best parts, and not address the others, then you are not doing a good job, in my opinion. That's what I feel. Follow the whole thing through. VAR, video assistant referee. What you cannot see, let the VAR handle, and that's me on that.
For me, I just feel things need to be done the way it's supposed to be done, because you don't just a case in point, the Arsenal Manchester City game is fresh in our memory because I was gutted decisions like that is what make a team season. Imagine if Arsenal goes all the way to not struggle, but we know how many teams are competing for that fourth position. Now, if it now gets down to the last day where the 2 points or the 1 point that Arsenal couldn't get in that match against Manchester City, or the 2 points that they miss out in that match against Manchester City is what determines their future for next season. So I think, for me, I know they're doing a good job. I'm not saying they're not going to do good. They're not doing a good job, because VAR has its own pros and cons. But all we're asking for is balancing things. Let things be balanced out, because if this inconsistencies continue, the EPL it's a league where everybody watch throughout the world. People watch the EPL throughout the world, and it's a very, very competitive league. You don't want to take out the sting, or you don't want to take out the intrigue or the fun that comes with it. You don't want people to start talking about the EPL as a league where there are a lot of bad officiating. The Italian league used to be watched before. If you notice, there was a lot of people that left that part. They moved on. But now, with what we're seeing in the Italian league, is attracting football lovers like me. I tend to watch the Italian league every weekend. Even if I don't watch the games 90 minutes, I tend to watch the recap, the highlights, because I'm beginning to see some good football happening in the Serie A. At one time, everybody moved on from it, and I pray this doesn't happen to the EPL. Based on the investment, based on the money that is being put into it, I pray for the love of football, people don't leave the EPL and just go somewhere. When they begin to see inconsistent officiating like this is what kills some leagues at times. But let's move on.
In my opinion, I feel the only thing that is going to be a downturn or downfall of the EPL is bad officiating, because if you check out in the past 2-3 seasons, that has been the undoing of the EPL. Bad officiating. It needs to be corrected. It needs to be addressed as soon as possible, so we don't start having inconsistencies here and there, and people pulling out of the EPL and sponsorship deals and the likes. Hopefully it's not going to happen, but they should address that part first.
Yeah, we hope it gets addressed. But moving on, what's happening at Chelsea? You're the Chelsea guy. You're the Chelsea guy on our FootyWit podcast platform. So, because we saw the whole thing that happened, Lukaku, Thomas Tuchel's coming out to the press conference saying they don't want what Lukaku went to the media. It's a lot of noise, so they don't want that distraction. And moving on, Liverpool, Chelsea, or Chelsea, Liverpool, we saw Lukaku being dropped. So what's going on? Is this going to turn out to be another Arteta Aubameyang? And for whatever reason, I don't know why Lukaku had to go out to the press to start saying all that. It shows you're not loyal. It shows a whole lot of things are going on behind the scene that we don't know. But let me just leave it to you as a Chelsea fan to give us some analysis on this current happening at Chelsea.
Well, with Lukaku, I see Lukaku as being a child who is looking for where to air his views. But that's the truth. Lukaku is not the first player who has come into Chelsea and was dropped because of injury, because of COVID, and at the end you were dropped or you had your injury against Juventus, and that was in October, I think, late October, and because of that you've had ankle injuries which you've not come back from. You're still at the end, after the injuries you got COVID, and in that same span it took you a while for you to get fit, and at the end of the whole thing, at the beginning of December, you went all the way to Italy, and you sat in an interview bad mouthing the club and talking.
But was that bad mouthing, or it was just airing his opinion?
Look at now. Do you know that as a senior player who he is, there's some things that he would say that would actually bring down the how do I put it, the togetherness in that team.
Yeah, I understand all that, because the team's camaraderie.
There's so many young players who are actually looking up to him.
Even the decision made by Tuchel has a ripple effect on the players already. The players are talking. Like I saw today, there were some players that were not happy because Lukaku was ousted from the team. So things like this, they have their own backlash.
Yeah, they have their own backlash. But I would with Tuchel's decision. Well, according to him, no decision has been made. But it was of the best interest of the football club to rest Lukaku, which I was in 101%. Support off, and be dropped. Let's not forget that we had a Jorginho who came into Chelsea his first season and was being booed by the Chelsea fans, saying he doesn't know how to play football. But it is the same Jorginho who has come in 2-3 years later and has come third in the back on. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. And for once, he didn't go out to the media to say nothing. We have an Alonso who was not getting game time, but for once never went to the media to go and say nothing. We had Rudiger who had problems under Frank Lampard, and for once never went to the media to say nothing. And this is a player who had just 1 month.
Could it be he was taken out of context in that his interview with Sky Sports?
Now, I followed up on the interview and I realized that the brother of the interviewer said that Lukaku was tired of Chelsea. This was not on camera. So
tired of Chelsea or tired of him being sitting on the bench? Because there are two things.
Not just tired of Chelsea.
I could come out to say I'm tired of waking up every morning to resume at my office 8 a.m. But does it mean I'm tired of working for my office?
No. I believe that these kind of questions can be answered.
I'm just using that as an example, though.
Yeah.
So my organization don't tend to see me say this and they say I'm tired of them.
No, actually, it happens to every one of us. Those of us who does the 9 to 5 jobs. At some point, you wake up and say you are tired. You cannot even stand up to go to the work to the office. Now, it's different from you are tired of going there and you wouldn't want to go there at all. Now, Lukaku came up with, "I'm tired of Chelsea. I'm tired of living in London," and he said too many things that shouldn't have been said. First, you are I don't know how he was thinking in his head. I don't know how it came about, or how he was able to spit it out of his mouth. Lukaku had just 1 month out. Just 1 month out. And you are quick to criticize the gameplay of your manager.
Of the manager.
You are quick to criticize the city where you're living in. You are also quick to criticize the football club that signed you for 97 million plus.
97 million pounds.
So
but you can continue.
Okay. If you can come out to say this, why in the first place were you hungry to play for Chelsea Football Club?
Yeah, I was about to ask that question. Yeah.
If you are going to go through a phase of life and you will tell me that you are not going to come through challenges, it's a lie. Now, it's not like you didn't play from the beginning of the season. The season started out in August. And you had played all the way from August all through to when you had your injury in October. Now, because you had a stint on the sideline for a month, you come out to say this kind of things. It's uncalled for a professional for crying out loud. It's assuming it was a Mason Mount, or no, not even Mason Mount, because Mason Mount is too loyal to open his mouth to say such kind of things. If you are going to talk about, I don't know who I'm going to use. Who will come? If despite the fact that in Arsenal, Aubameyang has been stripped of his captaincy, I have not heard anything from him.
Yeah, we've not heard his own opinion.
It only tells you how professional this guy is and how unprofessional Lukaku has turned out to be. If you are granting interviews without
what baffles me with footballers of nowadays, I think I'll go back to a phrase a friend of mine keeps saying, that the most loyal, the ever loyal footballer he has known on earth ever since he started watching football is Francesco Totti. That Francesco Totti has done the jersey for Roma from his youth days up until when he retired. What baffles me really is Lukaku. A few months ago when he resigned for Chelsea, I still watched his media, the first press conference he had after he resigned for Chelsea in August during the summer. and we could hear all the good words he was saying. I'm back to make a statement in the EPL. I'm back to say this, da 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 da. I'm going to put in my best. I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden, 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. 4 months, 5 months down the line. 4 months actually down the line. The story has changed. So it just keeps showing. It just keeps to show that footballers of nowadays, they're spoilt brat, spoilt piece of shit. Some of them, they don't want to put in the work anymore.
I would like to add something to it. Now, I feel that Lukaku's actions were triggered by the fact that Inter fans were not happy about his departure. So he tried as much as possible to talk in favor
to please them,
or to please them. And in the course of doing this, he overtalked and displeased the club that is paying him presently. Now, he wants to be in the good books of Inter Milan fans. Yeah, he said in the beginning of the interview he would like to come back even in his heydays at the prime of his career, which means if Inter offers to take him for £1 million, he's ready to accept the offer. That's what he's trying to say. All he's trying to do is be in the good books of Inter Milan, and at the same time create a little misunderstanding in the Chelsea dressing room. I don't think he expected that this interview would have come out this early.
Okay, that's not an excuse.
It would have come out this early.
That's not an excuse.
He shouldn't for any reason have even accepted the interview and accepted some questions as a professional that he is. Well, it's on Chelsea Football Club.
So what does this mean? Just round off. Just for us to round off on this. So does it mean him being ousted from the team? Is there a time frame? Is there a period, or it was just rested for the Liverpool game? Are we going to see him against Tottenham in the car? No, as in when is he rested? As in taken out of the squad? Is a form of rest too. So does it mean we'll see him against Tottenham in the Carabao Cup semi-final?
No, it's going to be up to the manager and the football club to decide, because from what I have tried to gather from this news or from this story is the club is actually displeased with the act of Romelu Lukaku, and definitely there will be a punishment for it. Now, the punishment, I don't know. I believe they might leave the punishment to the manager to carry out. But in footballing terms, we realize that Chelsea need this player one way or the other. But if they can grind out a 2-2 draw with an informed Liverpool team, I believe they can do it without Lukaku, even in the Carabao Cup, which is very true.
Yeah. For me, this is going to show the mental fortitude of Thomas Tuchel, and of the team as well.
Lukaku.
Yeah, Lukaku.
I believe it's all down to the manager to wield his iron rod. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how many matches he's going to give him. I don't know what he's going to have to do, because I also heard Tuchel saying that he had to tell Lukaku to speak to his teammates, which means it also means he has offended his teammates. Either
like I said, these things do have backlash. What Lukaku did is going to have a backlash. What the club and Tuchel did as well, it's going to have a backlash. It's all about looking or finding a balance.
But
football, it's not managing football. It's not easy, man. It's not. It's nice doing this with you, Chimamaka, on episode 9 of the EPL weekly review on FootyWit podcast. Like I mentioned, FootyWit. Please, we enjoin you guys to follow us on our social media platform. We want to build our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, and also just click on the notification button to get notification when our video drops. And also, we are on Instagram at FootyWit. We're on Twitter at FootyWit. Still, currently, we're not running it at the moment due to some restriction where we run it from Nigeria. We're on Anchor. We're on Google Podcasts. And we are on Spotify. You can listen to the audio version of our podcast. Please, we're enjoying you to continue to do that. And also, please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you so much, Chimamaka, once again. My name is Ehis Anthony, the host with the most and with some toast on FootyWit Podcast. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Bye.